Good afternoon. My name is Fran. I am a Spanish student and I am learning English. And I would like to ask you some questions about your life. Could you speak slowly, please?
Ja. Ich möchte Sie ein bisschen über Ihr Leben fragen und Sie möchten bitte langsam antworten.
Ja, zuerst.
Er fragt noch.
What's your name?
My name is HEINZ31. I was born in 1920. I'm very old. I hope to be 100 years in 8 years. But I don't know what the great leaders God will say to me.
During the dictatorship, where did you live?
Wo haben Sie denn des Dritten Reichs gelebt?
Ich bin hier im Bezirk geboren, in Lichterfelde. Bin also hier zu Hause, bin also auch hier im Bezirk Steglitz zur Schule gegangen, 4 Jahre zur Volksschule und 8 Jahre auf Gymnasium. Also immer.
English. He was born in.
I was born in this part where your school is situated. And my father, I was born in special barracks for military in 1920. My father, he was soldier for 12 years, professional soldiers, but he was not fighting in the first war. He was special soldier. He was chef of a house for horses too. Yes. Therefore he was not in the first part of the front during the first war against the French troops. He was coming just to Paris, and there he was hands up. The war was finished. He was 3.5 years prisoner by the English. That's my father. And I was born also in this barracks. And my life, all the days when I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, till 6 years, I lived between soldiers. Every day I have only seen soldiers. I was a young boy, I was going for the soldiers to buy something. They have given me 1 cent maybe, in German, 1 Pfennig or 5 Pfennig. And therefore, you can understand, my jism, I was only seeing soldiers, and when my father has finished his professional time for 12 years, in 1922, we lived only as civil persons in this barracks. 6 years, yes? And I was only seeing soldiers. But my mother, she was knowing, he is between the soldiers, no accident for the railway or for, I don't know what. And therefore, you can understand this was during the time when Hitler was not, he was in South Germany, he was not in Berlin. In Berlin we have had Sozialdemokraten, Communists, 6, 7 parties, Deutschnational, there are special directions to think as a government, yes you know, yes, as at meantime. And therefore, of course, because I have only seen soldiers, they have music, they were going to the maneuver. I know they have a good uniform, and before the last war, the persons, they were officers. This was a special part of the German population, a part with very fine uniform, and they have also, for the name, von Adel, Lord, as come to say, yes, you understand, yes? And it was also a time around Berlin, it was very difficult, but I will say later. And I think when I have finished the school, also in this department, 9 years of the gymnasium, beginning with 9 years Latin, 6 years French, and 5 years English. And in the year 1938, in 1939, of the month, February is the second month, I have finished my school. In German, I have to say Abitur. You know Abitur, yes? Yeah. Abitur, yeah. And this was the first group of schoolboys we have made a real finish, because it was not war in the second month of the 1939, yes?
How was the school in the dictatorship?
Wie war die Schule während der Nazi-Zeit?
I will say you, in the first time, when the National Socialism not was the first party in Germany, we have a master of school, how to say, director. This was a man, he was studied in all time, and he had also, when in the old time, the students, they made yes, this was a special, oh, he has studied when he had, this was very fine. Yes. And this director was a man from the first war. And every Monday, all schoolboys had to go from this aula. All are sitting. And during this time, no any word was saying about the National Socialism. Till 1933. In Germany was president, before Hitler was coming, the old General Hindenburg, von Hindenburg. And our class have also, this was the first class, how at meantime they have not 3 years in the upper part of the, only 2 years. And the government knows we need the young boys, the war is beginning, but we don't know that the war will begin, yes? And I have also finished my Abitur in Leyden. Leyden was to write during the Prüfung, during the test. But Latin was the only language I was pulled on. Yes, Caesar and Tacitus and...
Herr Rotter, vielleicht können Sie doch mal sagen, wie das war.
Ja.
The Nazi unter...
Yeah. And the director was, I had said, from the first war. Every Monday, all boys had to come in the aula. And one of the masters had to make a speech, but not a party speech, only a speech with the Evangelion book. And all the all the boys had to sing a song from the Evangelisch book, yes? This was clerical, only clerical. And every master of school, every was they have changed, another was coming. And at first was speaking the director. And the director, he had special costume, a frock, special, yes. And from the first war, he had the EK, iron clothes, first class, yes. This was their not-National Socialism. And then, and also the professors, I can say, till 1904, and also the time that this one, old professor, not young. The young were coming with a sign, Hakenkreuz, yes. But the old professional, no one I have seen till 34 was a sign from Nationalsozialism. And when they were coming in the room, they were not coming and they were had to make not good day, yeah, they were coming, yes, but they had to, there was precautionary, was heißt Befehl?
Order.
They had order, but the professional were coming, they were not for the Nationalsozialisten, you know. Yeah, but very quickly, yeah. And they had to make, they had Angst, whatever.
They are afraid?
Yes, for professional. And the time was coming, and in Berlin, the old president von Hindenburg, he has given the government to Hitler. The party of Hitler grow. This was a time in Germany till 26 to 33. There are much population without work. This was a special good time for Hitler. He had said, I am coming. The French, they had to leave Germany from the First World War. And also he was going in the years 34, 35, Austria. All were coming without war. The population, when he was coming, especially in Austria, because Hitler was born in Germany, in Austria, they were standing in the streets, Heil, yeah. He was a great man.
It's okay,
and now was coming the time, the director of the school, because he had no opinion for the Nationalsozialism, he had to leave the position. There was coming a new Oberstudienrat PG Parteigenosse. Yeah? And this was beginning another time for the gymnasium. Of course, they had to make what the government will say, to rest on their posts and so, yeah? And only the young professor, he were coming to the school, and the first time they heard, and then they were standing before, yeah? They were young boys, I may say, of German ancestry. They had the Hakenkreuz, yes? This was a change. And then was the time we had in my class, we had two comrades Jewish, yes? But this was one day, I think in 34, one day the two slaves, they were not come, and we asked our master, because Kronbühl and the other name I have forgotten, why don't come? They are not come. And this was ours. We have not asked where to go. Maybe that's the parents, the first time it was possible to leave Germany.
How was your family influenced by the dictatorship?
Yeah, one more please. Of course, when I was 14, 15 years old, I was also going to the Hitlerjugend. This was the young boy till 14, and then Hitlerjugend till 18. And when you were 18, you had to go freiwillig, voluntary or to the party, yes. And I was also by the young boys, because this was the time. It is similar with the DDR, with the young boys. We were going to South Germany. We had to build Zelte, yeah. It was possible to make a special part, to make flying part. It was possible to receive a little 100 cubic centimeter motorrad. It was possible to go in a troop to play music. It was possible to go to Hitlerjugend Mariners. Yes, all things what young boys like. Yes, you must understand. And when I was there, we have not made a grand political. We will know Hitler was born in Braunau in the 21st, I forgot the year. But we are not interested of the great political. Yes.
Did you lose any relatives in the Second World War or in the post period?
Ob Sie jemanden verloren haben im Zweiten Weltkrieg oder in der Nachkriegszeit nach Ihrem Vater?
I would say, this is, I have said to you, my father was 3.5 years in the first war, of prisoner of war by the English. And this was the other time. The first war, the prisoners was able to learn at prisoner English, French, stenography, history. This is not the same as prisoner by the Second War. And my father was in this department to work Rathaus.
Town Hall.
In the town hall, in 3 town hall, he has changed 1 year there, 1 year there, and he was a professional soldier. But when he has finished the 12 years, he was going to the government of this part. Yeah. And in January 1945, the war, the Russians, they were coming there. The Americans, they were not directed in Berlin, but the Russians, they were at first here. My father had to go once more to the military. Maybe you have heard the name Volkssturm. These were old men, young boys. They had to fight, had to come. And just when the war was finished, on the 8th April in 1945, my father was standing nicht so weit jetzt. Nicht so weit.
Not very far from here.
From here, the front was coming, and my father had to fight against the Rush. And one day he isn't returned. My mother, she don't know. And in the middle of 45, there were exhumed some soldiers in this part. And then one girl, how to say?
Oh, one big grave.
Without only, yeah. There were 7 German Volkssturm, old papas, old men. And also my father, and all 7 German soldiers, they have the same shot from the Russian, yes. And he was found, and my uncle was going with a little wagon too, and he is loading my father, and now he is lying of a cemetery of the near of my lodgement.
How was your family influenced by the dictatorship?
Wurde Ihre Familie durch das Regime beeinflusst?
No, I must say, because my father was an old soldier, he was also not from the government. He was time from Hindenburg and old officers and so on, but not, he was not, my father was not in the party.
No.
And
the question is, how was your family influenced after your father's death?
was war?
After the death?
after his father's death?
What do you want? After the death, they have to...
His father was shot.
Yes.
What happened after that?
Okay.
Yes, and this was very difficult for my mother, because when my father was dead, the time before, I was forbidden. I was prisoner of war by the Russian in 1944 in Romania, Moldavia. And when I was prisoner, I was in a great camp for 4,000 officers, from lieutenant to commander of regiment, and 4,000 German officers, 450 Romanian officers. They were military brothers. Also 120 Mađarski officers. They were also you know also that we have by the front regiment from Spain. You know, yes? And I will say you something between. In 1936, there was in Spain the great war against the Bolsheviki. Yes?
Yes.
And this was the first time where the Germans had given avion, and they have proved artillery, yes, and no any person has knowing in Germany they was forbidden to write from Spain at home. They have proved to prove how are the artillery, and also that this was the brother Franco, from Hitler, yes.
Aber wie es Ihrer Mutter ging, nach dem Tod Ihres Vaters?
My father was also in Germany. We had also two great parts, the western part and the Soviets, and all was destroyed. But this was very fine for our family. We have lived in a house with two families. In the upper part, my parents. And this house was during the war, not destroyed. Yes, we have very glad. Therefore, I have not lost things. So I have all found at that home. Something at my mother have going my uniform. I was officer, lieutenant, commandeer, Zugführer, lieutenant, yes?
Lieutenant.
Yes, and I have also things at home that were special uniform to go in dance. If not there war. My mother, they have known also Hitlerjugend and all in the garden. Not was so seen.
What do you think about the dictatorship during that time?
Was haben Sie von der Diktatur gedacht während der Zeit?
And in the great camp, this was, when the war was finished, this was the first, in the first time in 1947, this was allowed to write at home. But 3 years my father was dead, had not known where's my son. But when you have priests from the Krasny Kris, the red clothes, yes, you know, yes, only you can write 25 words. What do you write?
Die Frage, er hat gefragt, was Sie persönlich von der Diktatur gedacht haben, was Sie von Hitler gedacht haben, während der Zeit.
I will say you, I was infantryist, and during the time of the war, I was also the time of during the war, I was infantryist. Three more, I was wounded. But this is not difficult, only walk there you go. And but I was always by the same battalion and regiment. And we were a group of soldiers, I can say, also my comrades, officers. There were not great fanatics for social. Yes, we also, if we have greed, we make so. And in 44, in May, there was a great attentat. What you know?
July.
Huh?
20. Juli.
Yeah.
20th of July.
Yes, from Hitler. And from this time, this was not allowed to greet, so we had to greet as the party form, party regiments, yes? But in your battalion, there were the spirit of old time from soldiers, not great party fanaticism, yes? And you can see, every man can only say what his heart knows. I was in Masters, but never was standing a man as you are sitting. When we say the hands up, I have shot. I had very lucky, had to say there are standing 7 soldiers, please shoot or give befehl.
Order.
Or give order to shoot of them. Maybe I am lucky, but we have not, in our battalion, I know only battalion, this is a part what you can see, regiment is too great. I can't say this were all the spirit of all soldiers' spirit. Not great nationalism. And as infanterists, you only to know how I came at home in the last time. Only saying how I came at home, not what political that are not interested. And we don't know the 4th time Germany, what's at home. And when I was prisoner of war, and when I was 3 years, after the 3 years in officer camp, I was Gericht, was heißt Gericht?
Before he come before a judge.
3 years.
Court.
3 years. Special 3 years. A normal camp for officers, and then the Russians, they needed prisoners to work. And one day I had to go to a great monument. There was inscribed the Russian special, how to say, Richter, Judge, yeah. But I don't understand any word of Russian. They were saying something, and at the end they were saying, all Russian officers, at the end I understand, Stanovich, stay up first. I stand up, and they will read something I have not understand, and then I understand 7 years. Yeah, I was special coming to Kazakhstan, a special camp only for the population of Russian. And there I was 3 years in different camps to work under the earth, coal, yeah?
Coal mine.
To Landwirtschaft, oh je, jetzt sagt man doch.
Agriculture.
Yeah, and I had to work very difficult 3 years, and during this time, because it was forbidden to make special prisoner of war to the Russian camps, it was not allowed to write at home. And for this time, 3 years, my mother had not know where is my son.
Have your ideas about Hitler's dictatorship changed?
Bitte?
Hat sich die Ansicht über Hitlers Regierung geändert?
No, of course. This was a fantastic, but it was very. He was coming at a time where in Germany, the young population had not to work. He was coming. The war against French, against Poland, coming to Austria, all were coming very good. And now, for that, what the German population, what we had to go to Russia. The front was so, in Russia, from year to year, the borders of the front, they was grown to the Caucasus. What the German wanted Caucasus, this was but it is understand that the great generals, they have all said to Hitler, yes we do. There are only some, Stauffenberg and so, they were shooting, because he want to change the government. And now at last, when the war was last finished, we always think to come without debt at home. This was interest. And for me it was difficult because I was going during the war 5 months, Potsdam, in a special school to, and at the end of this study I was officer. And when I was officer, I had said, when the war is finished, I rest by the troops, officer, professional officer, yes? And now I was coming at home, Germany, no military, I was a man without professional. 30 years I was going, beginning by the war, with 19 years and returned when I was 30. 11 years in my life, they were, I tend to say, for nothing. And with 30 years, I was beginning a new life in Berlin by the German customs, yes? And then, yes?
What are the difference between your life nowadays and your life during the dictatorship?
Das war der Unterschied zwischen Ihrem heutigen Leben oder Leben in der Demokratie und damals in der Diktatur.
This is a very great time. This is very fine today if I think for the time after me. In this time when I was as your age, they were also, it's the same in DDR. You had to go there, you had to go, you had there, you must this. And now we are a democratic German public. We can say what we want, we can do. And now I am not a man, he is thinking for the all time. And now I am a man, he is looking, I am old, I am looking forward. It's very fine. And that's now the presidents from all Europe governments, they were sitting by one table and they try to make the best things of all what happened.
Ja, ist doch prima.
What were you doing when the wall fell? What the wall fell?
Was haben Sie gemacht, als die Mauer gefallen ist?
I would say I was 3 years I had to beginning a new professional by the German customers. 3 years I had to make Prüfung, was heißt Prüfung? Exam I had to make exam for the officer, not academica, yeah, in the middle part, and special work as customer. When in Berlin was beginning the political fight, Bolshevism against capitalism, we say, I was specialist by the German Mauer and all what was in Berlin. We have the English, the American and the French zone. And I was coming to the special house in Berlin, and I had to buy by the Allied English troops pistols and gewehr, yeah, and all ammunition, uniform, dogs, all. This was my command. All what happened around Berlin, Russian against the American or against French, was coming by funk, yeah, of my table, and I had to destroy to the Allied because I speak English, French and Russian. I was a specialist. Oh, jetzt komme ich wieder vergessen. Sorry. Not a customer, as usually I specialist. I had, for example, a part of this border from Schönefeld. This is a part where now is trying to build a new airport. Yes, 28 kilometers with 120 customers. They were looking what happened of the other part. Yes.
He was in charge of a district and on the western side, and he looks that no East German comes over. East German soldier. So. Und was war, als die Mauer gefallen ist? Wo waren Sie da?
When the war was one evening, I heard by the television, because in '84 I have finished my work. I was 34 years by the customers, and with 85 years I was pensioner. When the Mauer was down, I had see and heard this by television, and this was a time we never did forgotten. I also have Verwandte.
Relatives.
Huh?
Relatives.
I have relatives also of the other part, and because for this time it was very impossible to go to. They are different. They were looking, where do you coming? What have you made? Have you shot by the customers? Very difficult.
How are the book about?
Was? Ohne Sie wäre ich geplatzt. Yeah, I can. If you are finished, yeah, and when you are interested, you had not to read all. I will show you, and I will say this is this. Yeah. Please, if you are interested, yes.
Take pictures.
Yes. Möchten gerne Fotos machen. Sie möchten Fotos machen davon, von dem.
Yeah, and all things what I have, we have not speak only for the time of the war, especially the 6 years of prisoners. We have not given great. In the last year, he was my editor at first time, and I have write 3 years of my life to look zurück. Yeah. And one part of this book is the 6 years when I was prisoner of war. In the last year I had written a book, kann man die Tasche haben. the other. In the last year, I have written a book of my 6 years, and with the name, I was not dead. This is not war. This is also not a book in this are written, oh, the Germans, they were the great soldiers. This is only the time of the 6 years of prisoners. And I have written this because when I was 3 years imprisoned by the Russian, no anything was known in Germany because these were camps for the Russian. And I have right toys here with pictures, not of course pictures not in the prison, we have no photo apparat. And if you are interested, yes, this is I will not make a just, was heißt Geschäft? You cannot buy this book in the library. I am also by me at home. I have 200 and now once more 50 pieces. If you are interested, these are 16 euros. You can buy this. They are special, right? All things of 6 years of prisoner. These are not. These are also to write things when you can smile. This is also not only very, very hard. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. It has been a pleasure to share some time with a German person and to listen to your experience.
Bedankt sich dafür, dass Sie die Zeit gefunden haben, und es war sehr interessant, mit einem deutschen Zeitzeugen zu sprechen.
I also want to say, it was very interesting to speak with you, and once more I say, I am a great European man. I am not a man who say to make soldiers is very fine. Our business is very fine. We are very happy when we are not ill and we can say, you are young boys. Today when I was at school, during the time of my gymnasium, we have only made one great journey to the eastern Germany. There was Ostpreußen, a part of Germany. And now when I see you can make change at Spain, my, was heißt Enkel? How to say? My
grandson.
Huh?
Grandson.
Yes, grandson. Yeah. The daughter of my daughter. Yeah.
My daughter.
They have the last year finished at school. All things was one note, yeah, and they were at America. Yeah, they were in French. Yeah? They make great journalists, wunderbar, and you are coming. Yeah. I also was in Spain, of course, Mallorca, of course, yes, yeah.
Okay.
But that's very interested to speak with you, and I wish you a very good time in Berlin, and in meantime, in Spain it's also...
We have brought out here.
Yes, at meantime in Spain, also difficult, yeah, the young people, they are in the street and, yeah, they, right, yeah. It's a time, but it's better to say as one man, as Franco, as Hitler, as Mussolini in Italian, they were the great, and the German had Germany, Spain, Italy, Japan was it? Yes, they were there. But we have, and the population, and was to say, the German population after war, especially the women with the little children, they have hard work to remount Berlin and the other towns. And without help of the American, the Marshall Plan, and also never was in Germany as we have in meantime.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.